Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, should we pump the brakes on hyping LeBron and the Cavs after they lost to the Wizards? Plus, Skip explains why he thinks the Thunder could pose a big threat to the Warriors. And can Lonzo Ball turn his season around after returning from his injury? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. LeBron and the new-look Cavs lost their first game together at home to the Wizards last night. LeBron scored 32, including the last 14 points of the fourth quarter for Cleveland. But Bradley Beal sealed the win with a layup in the final 30 seconds. Despite the loss, LeBron was still positive about their new roster. Let's take a listen.
I think we played well tonight, even though we lost. And there's no, I hate losing, obviously, but I think the way we played, the way we shared the ball, defensively we were flying around as well. And those guys just, they played better than us tonight. So I like the start. I like the direction we're headed in.
Shannon, what happened last night?
Well, the game slipped away in the second quarter. They came out on fire. They were rotating a lot. They were getting hands up, and they were challenging a lot of shots. But in the second quarter, the game got away from them, Skip. They were up 12 at one point in the second quarter with about a little over 5 minutes to go. And then Washington hit 8 straight shots. 5 of those shots were three-pointers. And what happened was they got a little lax in the second quarter. A couple of shots go in for Washington. And the next thing you know, even when they're challenging shots, the ball is going in. And team gets confident. This is a make-or-miss league. And that's what happens. If you look in the fourth quarter, LeBron scores 14 straight points. But his teammates go 0 of 10, all three-pointers. Skip, what we've seen in the last 4 games, this winning streak, they're averaging 17 threes a game. Well, when you average making 17 threes a game, you're going to win a lot of ball games. Last night, they were 8 of 34. You're going to lose a lot of ball games if you take that many threes and you only make 8 of those. So I'm not overly concerned. They had a great rhythm going before the All-Star break. Now that you get a week off, you lose practice time. I'm not concerned about this one iota, Skip. Washington played well last night. LeBron will get them ready to play tonight in Memphis. I believe you'll see a different team. LeBron came out on fire. Because think about it. In the first quarter, he had 6 assists because guys were making shots. He ended up with 8 assists because all of a sudden guys couldn't make shots. Some of those threes that they were shooting were halfway down and they come back out. There's nothing you can do about that. Give the Washington credit. LeBron played okay. I thought he could have played better. The turnovers are still a little high for me. But other than that, I'm not overly concerned about Cleveland Cavaliers. I've lost no faith in them. I know you have, but I have not.
How do you know I have?
Because I know you. Because I know you.
Oh, well, I guess LeBron still doesn't have enough help.
Oh, my goodness. Skip, stop.
I guess he still doesn't have enough help. So much for all those new Cavs on the block, right? They look like the old Cavs.
Did you expect them to go 26-0?
I did not.
Okay.
But you didn't sing "I'm So Hood."
Oh, okay. You got jokes now.
You know why? Because last night you were so hoodwinked, weren't you, in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Because Rodney Hood, new Cav, played 10.5 minutes of the fourth quarter and scored a big old goose egg.
Yes.
Jordan Clarkson played 6 minutes in the fourth quarter and scored a big old goose egg. So that didn't work. And I will give you, it does, to a fault, come down for these Cavs to three-point shooting in fourth quarter last night in the fourth quarter. Went 1 for 5. That's not good enough. That won't get it done. And so, to your point, with 5:19 left in the second quarter, and I'm sitting in my chair thinking, got this, because I thought they'd win this game by 20 against the no John Wall Wizards. Although the Wizards are starting to look a little better without John Wall. No surprise here.
Stop it.
I'm not the biggest John Wall fan, but 5:19 left in the second quarter. Boom, they're up 12.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good. Kind of looking like they did at Boston with the new Cavs on the block and at Oklahoma City with the new Cavs on the block. And then from that point forward, they lost at home the rest of that game 77-58. That felt like the old Cavs. That looked like the mess that Dan Gilbert got rid of at the trade deadline. And what shocked me the most was I hear you about all you said about three-point shooting. Unfortunately, all of basketball, both pro and college, to a fault, comes down to three-point shooting. But it also can come down to defending. And in this case, LeBron said, on defense, we were flying around. Well, if they were really flying around last night, they were flying the wrong ways because I counted up 17 layups they allowed last night and 7 dunks they allowed last night. That's horrendously bad. And it seemed like late second quarter, all the way through the second half, all I saw was a layup line or a dunk line by the Washington Wizards against the Cavaliers in LeBron's house.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, this team has to be better than that on defense, because I saw it be better at Boston and at Oklahoma City.
Right.
They cared on defense. They were locking up and down on defense. And
They played that way in the first quarter.
they did. And I don't know what happened. But look, LeBron actually, I thought you undersold. I thought offensively he was really good.
Oh, he
last
can't
night.
play any better than that. 13 of 18, 72%
Yeah,
from the floor.
and I tweeted at one point when he took a three-point shot in the fourth quarter, like with a couple of minutes left, stop taking three-point shots, because they cannot stop you from getting to the basket. They can't stop. Washington's got nobody who can stop LeBron James. Seriously, if he had committed to coming out before the tip-off and scoring 50 points the way he did in a previous game against Washington, could he have scored 50 last night?
Looked like it.
I'm pretty sure he could have scored 50, and maybe he should have scored 50 because his teammates couldn't go along for the right ride last night. But you have to play some defense, and to me, LeBron in his, what are we up to now, 15th year? He's all offense and little defense, and it's starting to bother my eyes because he's better than that on defense. I thought he was just roaming and sometimes loafing on defense last night, where he was just taking it easy on defense because he wanted to play offense. And I get it. A lot of guys do that. But if he is the best player on the planet, he's got to set a better tone on defense, because you can't give up 17 layups and 7 dunks and hope to go challenge Golden State.
No.
You just can't.
You can't, Skip, but I think the thing is with him is that he's going to have a high turnover ratio, Skip, because he's going to make some plays that you like, how did he do that? Like behind the back, between the legs to D. Wade earlier in the year, Skip. So he's going to have a high turnover rate. But when they're making shots is when he's at his best, because now you have to close out those shooters, and now he has an easier path to the basket. When they're not making shots, well, why am I going to give LeBron layups? Now, they tried to place the floor because the floor last night, because in the fourth quarter, they started this comeback, the Cavaliers did, and they didn't want to give him open threes. So LeBron got a lot of chances to work one-on-one against Morris, against Oubre, against Otto Porter. But early,
or Tot sometimes.
And he was just like moving Mahimi out of the way. I mean,
Yep.
like Mahimi was like paper mache.
He was. Yep.
But Skip, look, I like the rhythm that they were in. And then it seems like, and it always seems like this, you get a great rhythm, then something happens. Someone gets hurt, or you get interrupted by the All-Star break. I believe once they get back into a rhythm, because they were going great, and then all of a sudden you get a Jetty Osman and you get Tristan, both going to the guy dumps it down, you get a dunk. You get guy, they were switching every pick and roll. Then all of a sudden they don't switch, and now the guy gets a wide open three. Okay. That's something that we can work on. But I like LeBron said, I like the ball movement. They're being very unselfish with the basketball. If you tell me that Rodney Hood is going to get those looks and he's going to miss, 5 or 7, well, we're going to be in trouble. Kyle Korver's going to get those looks and he's going to be 1 of 7, we're going to be in trouble. But I believe they'll knock down more of those shots than miss. I'm not overly concerned about this because I know Bron got this thing.
He's got this.
Got
thing.
it.
Okay, so he does have enough help.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not back to excuses,
No,
right?
we make no excuse. They lost. Washington played better last night.
All I know is LeBron told the guys on TNT after the All-Star game that he loves the new guys because of their spirit. They brought a new spirit to the locker room, and so do I. And I still love the mix here. But you can't rest on your laurels. And maybe it was the All-Star break because it's long. It's the equivalent of like a week off.
Yes, it's a little different than what it used to be.
Yes,
Skip.
correct.
Normally they play Sunday and then they got a game again on Tuesday. Now you get an extra couple of days. You get a couple of days before.
Yep. And LeBron, to his credit, he's become the ambassador for the NBA. So he has to go to All-Star break, quote unquote, and do a lot of media. He's like the face of not just the franchise, he's the face of the league.
Correct.
Okay, and he won the MVP. Well, you don't think that took something out of him?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It
they,
did.
went to Cabo, he in Savannah, get a little
don't think
downtown.
they went to Cabo.
They went out of town.
How do you know?
Because I know everything.
Did you set it up?
No.
Travel agent?
But
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But, Skip, let's not get carried away. They lost. Okay, yeah, we expected them to win. Vegas expected them to win because they were favored. The line, I think, had gone up to 6 points by the time the tip. But, look, if you tell me LeBron's going to go shoot 13 of 18, 72%, man, these free throws, Lord have mercy.
Somebody told you to be careful with that.
I don't need you to tell me anything
Somebody
else.
has a whole case of do bet that he's going to shoot 80%. Are you ready to concede that
No,
already at the All-Star break?
I got a feeling that he's going to get hot here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he's going to have to
hot
get like crazy hot to
he
get it
can
above 80.
But you know he can do that, Skip.
Yeah.
Because we've seen times where he go like 15 of 15, and then, he stretch it out and be like 27 of 33. So I'm just waiting on him to get on one of these streaks and get bumping on back up. But they missed 9 free throws. You can't miss 9. You can't miss 9 of those. While Washington was a perfect 10 for 10.
And he missed.
He missed 4. You know how many he missed. You are high. He missed. Are you concerned? Are you concerned about the Cavaliers? Do you think they're not going to come out of the East now after what you saw last night?
I think last night was a good lesson for them, for the young guys, because you can't just roll your jerseys out there on the floor and think because now you're a Cavalier that the Wizards are going to roll over and play dead for
Correct.
you. And they did not. And every dunk and layup the Wizards got last night, you could just see their bench jumping up and down, looking sideways, saying, "What? We got this."
Yeah.
They're not playing defense tonight, right?
Yeah. Jordan Clarkson. I mean, if our bench only scored, 36 points, where we were averaging pretty close to 50. Well, they got almost 50 points from their bench. And that's what happens. I'm not overly concerned. Like I said, they'll get some practice time. They'll get on the floor. They'll continue. They'll get better and better. Now, I don't expect them to make 17 threes a game, Skip. I mean, that's asking an awful lot.
If they're going to challenge Golden State, which I think they have a chance to do.
Well, they're going to need to make 17
State,
threes a game.
Golden State does not play much defense either, as we saw in the late game last night. They gave up, whatever it was, 120.
123, 120. No, yeah, 126.
Yeah. And the point is, if Steph Curry is going to make 8 threes a night, 8 out of 11, they're going to win every game and it's just over. You can just call off the rest of this year, but he's not going to make 8 of 11 threes every night. He's not going to make a near half-court three at the end of the first quarter. In fact, Steph made a bomb at the end of each of the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen every night? No. So do I still give LeBron and new company, a chance? I do. But he is going to have to start setting a better tone on the defensive end.
Well, what happens is, Skip, what makes them so difficult to beat is Golden State is that you'll get 48 from Steph against the Celtics. Then you'll come back and get 50 from KD, although they lost to Portland. And then here comes Steph again giving you 44. Now, you notice we hadn't mentioned the microwave. Klay Thompson can get hotter than all these guys because we've seen him go for 60 and 29 minutes. And that's what happens. What's going to make them so difficult to beat is that we have yet to see 2 of the big 3 go off.
Yep.
When they go off, there's nothing. If Steph and Klay go off, or if Steph and KD, or KD and Klay, Steph go off, if any 2 of the 3 go off, you're not beating them, Skip. You're not beating them unless you make 25 threes a game, something like what Denver did a couple of years ago. If you don't get that kind of production, it's going to be hard to beat them 4 games over 2 weeks.
That is correct.
But with LeBron, I think the thing is that he can control the tempo. Don't try to go up and down the court with him. Let Houston, Daryl Morey believe that that's the way to beat him. I do not. I don't believe you can get into a running contest until Usain Bolt got old. You better try to get out there ahead of him and hope he doesn't run you down in the 100 meters. Because if he gets out with you, you're not beating him. And that's what you have to do.
From this point forward, the truth is going to be told about where LeBron James winds up next year. And Howard Beck of the Bleacher Report reported yesterday, per a source close to the Cavaliers organization, that it's a collision course right now between LeBron and Dan Gilbert over a potential, do you have a trade,
Trade
clause or veto? Will LeBron be given trade veto, which he always is going to want?
Right.
And that Dan Gilbert will not want to give it to him. But I don't know that LeBron will want to commit to more than just 1 year at a time anyway.
Right.
But is it possible that he could have gotten traded this year at the trade deadline if he hadn't had a no-trade clause?
Well, I don't see how LeBron gives that up. He doesn't want – I mean, you wait a very, very long time to be in position where you control If they want to move you, you're going to control where you go. And if you don't want to go, I'm staying right here. It's hard for me to believe that he's going to be willing to give that up in year 16, 17 when he fought so hard the previous 15 years to get it. So I don't believe LeBron James is going to be willing to give that up because he doesn't want Dan Gilbert to all of a sudden wake up on the wrong side of the bed and ship him to Sacramento or ship him to the Brooklyn Nets. Because, look, we all know what Dan Gilbert was capable of. And LeBron is not going to be up for no bull jive. Now, I believe he signed probably a 2-year with a play-in option for year 3.
I would agree.
Now, I don't see him getting that 4 or 5 year deal.
Yeah, Dan Gilbert obviously wants to retain total control of the franchise, which would mean I need a trade clause. But I'm with you. If you have a chance to keep LeBron James, which I do think he now has a chance to keep him, I think he will have to concede a no-trade clause.
Yes. And the mere fact that LeBron says, hold on, you think I'm going to waive my trade clause and commit to signing to you long term? You must be on some real good stuff up in Cleveland, Dan Gilbert, because that's not going to happen.
Well, he was on some real good stuff once upon a time when he accused LeBron of quitting on him.
Yeah, and he wrote that letter. He must have been on them salts.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
And LeBron forgave him.
Yeah. So here we go. Truth will be told because we'll see if this team is good enough to compete because if it isn't in LeBron's eyes, then he's going to want to rejoin forces with stars.
It's good enough to compete. They kept the Brooklyn pick. Look here. Anthony Davis he's talked to a lot of players that said they waited too long to get up out of Dodge. Now, we might be willing to package that pick, the Brooklyn pick, and Kevin Love for OAD. Now, what you think about that? You like that deal, Skip?
Again, I'm not sure Anthony Davis is a difference maker.
I think he's a difference maker.
Maybe with LeBron that would work.
Everybody's a difference maker with LeBron.
Well, yeah, Kyrie was for sure.
Stop it, Skip. Why you do that?
Well, it's just the truth.
You do know Kyrie didn't hit a walk-off, right? That shot in Game 7 was not a walk-off.
It was
you
close.
Like walk-off? No,
close enough.
That was a minute, Joy.
Was it the game winner?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. LeBron hit the free throw to seal the game because the three-pointer could have tied it up. And it was like 50 seconds left, Skip. You told me you like walk-offs. I'm talking about
do.
Okay, that wasn't a walk-off.
Yeah. But I also have given LeBron a walk-off at Golden State. I told you in the final game before the 2014 All-Star game. I gave him one, and it's like with .3
He hit a walk-off against Indiana in the playoffs. You remember that layup over Paul George?
It was a layup.
Okay, what about the one over Jimmy Buckets?
Yeah, that was a 2-point shot.
Yeah, but it wasn't a walk-off.
No, that was a walk-off.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of those.
But I told you why it happened, because he got mad. And I love LeBron when he gets mad, because he got mad. In fact, that got the coach fired, that call.
First of all.
Who did he call the play for?
He called the play for Kyrie.
The assassin.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. LeBron, you got to control your emotions. See, when you get upset, people do things, they act angrily, they do things out of character. You thought LeBron was upset. LeBron said, nah, we ain't running that bull jive.
That's what he said.
Kevin Love, you take
Give me the damn ball.
You take the ball out. I think JR took it out. Passed him in the corner.
Yep. Boom.
Angry LeBron is the best LeBron.
No.
It is.
Yes.
Angry LeBron.
But
I want to see more angry LeBron down the stretch. I didn't see it in the
control his
last
emotion.
night.
Skip, the man had 14 points.
Yeah, but you got to play some defense.
Well, what about your teammates? Can they hit one shot?
Well, yeah, 8 for 35 is not going to work.
Yeah. And what about the 0 for 10? All them threes in the fourth quarter, the last 10 shots, they missed.
Sorry, no more food for the excuse machine, Shannon.
We don't make no excuses.
It's over.
Hold on. What you mean, what's over?
You got beaten in the fourth quarter by Mike Scott. You like that?
No.
LeBron got beat by Mike
No, he did
Scott
not. Oh.
for a little reverse layup. That was a huge
That wasn't
shot in that
LeBron's
game.
guy.
Yeah, well, he was there. He was defending him.
No, he was not. He was.
He hit his hand on the rim trying to get to it.
He tried to come late. You know that wasn't his man.
Well, I'm just saying. It was Mike Scott. I'm not sure it wasn't his man. I'm not sure.
He tried to do what he did to Jimmy Butler when he was on Jetty Osman. That's what he tried to do. He had the guy backside. You saw it, Skip. Does your TV only show, like...
I did not see LeBron play hard on defense last night, and he's got to if they're going to have a shot.
He got a steal, a couple of steals.
Yeah, he was just mentally worn out from winning MVP
He got
and the
2
All-Star game.
No mercy.
This is the Undisputed Podcast, and I'm Shannon Sharp. Before the show moves along, I wanted to tell you today's show is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. It's that time again, that familiar crossroads of choosing between basketball and hockey. You can't choose? They're both on. Why are they both on? Relax. We have a solution. Buffalo Wild Wings. Rather than fill your living room with TVs, come into B-Dubs. We've got hockey and basketball on. each playing on dozens of screens so you don't have to choose. And to complete the trifecta, we can ensure you have access to all the sports foods you crave. From our selection of America's favorite wings and any of our 21 signature sauces and seasonings to shareable favorites like cheddar cheese curds and fried pickles, you'll have everything you've ever wanted. But wait, we also have a variety of beers to quench your thirst. All the basketball, all the hockey, all the food and beer you want, Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Please drink responsibly. Now back to the show.
No mercy. LeBron and the new look Cavs lost their first game together at home to the Wizards last night. Despite the loss, LeBron was still positive about the new roster. We're joined by NBA champ Eddie House. Welcome back, Eddie. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
After all these moves, do the Cavs still have issues?
Before I get to that, I'd like to send a shout out to Shadow Mountain High School going for their three-peat. They got the semis tonight. Good luck, boys. Go out there and do your job.
Very
And
nice.
that
Good
is
luck.
because your
Son plays, he's
Yeah.
a junior going for the three-peat. This will be three straight.
what's his name?
Jalen House.
Jalen. And he
Yeah.
is what year?
He's a junior.
Junior.
Arizona
They
State.
say he be
commit.
ball hogging just like his dad.
Arizona State
They
commit.
say he
Arizona
ball
State.
hogging just like his dad.
He going to play. No, you know he ain't no ball like that. He going to play for Bobby Hurley. Bobby Hurley wants players. But let's get back to the question. at hand. I'm not worried about them at all. To be honest with you, they looked a lot better than. It's ways you can lose. You're gonna lose basketball games, but it's how you lose them. The second quarter, that was their Achilles heel. That second quarter killed them. They wasn't able to get over the hump after that. After they had the nice lead, they gave it back up. So you tip your cap off to Washington. I think Cleveland could have played a little better defense in that second quarter. I kind of think they relaxed, took their foot off the gas. But
Right.
overall, all in all, they looked faster. They competed. They were where they're supposed to be defensively. Even J.R. Smith coming over, rotating, being in the right place. We haven't seen that from him pretty much, maybe a couple times in the finals. But during the regular season, he's always missing his assignments. And he was there. And I like what I see out of this Cavs team, even though they lost.
I agree. And that's what happens. I mean, I agree with you. They took their foot off the gas. And what happened was they had a 12-point lead, and they allowed Washington to make 8 straight shots. 5 of those were 3. So you go up, you're up 12. They go 8 straight shots, and now you're down 6 in under 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes. And that can't happen. But I love how hard they play. They're a young team. They're more athletic. They're going to be able to close out. They'll be able to trap more. They'll be able to do more things. This is a make-or-miss league, Skip. And the thing was, LeBron had 6 assists in the first quarter. He had 2 the rest of the game because the guys, all of a sudden, the basket got small. Simple as that. But I like where they are. LeBron is reinvigorated. The guys love being there. They know their roles. We got to find a rotation because it seems like as soon as this, guess what? They'll get this thing ironed out right now, and then Kevin Love will come back in, and they have to start all back over again. But I'm not overly concerned. Give Washington credit. They played better than the Cavs last night. They won the game. But you saw that his head down right now, but you saw what he did.
You still got sniffles over there. Yeah. So, I very much disagree with both of your takes because I was shocked and disappointed and alarmed by what I saw, and I did not watch the same game Eddie saw because, as LeBron James said after the game, on defense we were flying around. I saw more floating around, and I'll give you the J.R. Smith play, and I'll give you that was unusual and out of character for him to come across like that and make that block. But do you realize that the Washington Wizards had 17 layups and 7 dunks last night? That'll lose every game.
Yeah.
Like back in the glory days of the Spurs when they would play against LeBron, the mantra was always no dunks. And they would go whole games in which they would not allow Miami or whoever they're playing, even when LeBron was a Cavalier, to dunk at all. You just can't allow it because it gets the crowd in the game. And in this case, it took the crowd out of the game again and again, and all the way to the Bradley Beal score at the end. Yeah. He just sort of waltzes down the lane. LeBron watched him. Everybody watched him, and he just laid the ball in. Yeah. That's horrendous defense that is not going to get you anywhere but beaten. And all of a sudden, the new Cavs that I like so much at Boston and at Oklahoma City looked a whole lot like the old Cavs because they go up. How many times do we see this early in the year? You go up 12 in the second quarter, and then what?
Right.
They got outscored 77-58 from that point on, at home, in the King's Palace.
They were up on Orlando. Remember, they were up big on Orlando.
How many times do we see that? just blown leads. And now, this is incomprehensible to me, that LeBron James' team has now lost 15 straight games in which it trailed going to the fourth quarter. So not once in those 15 games has LeBron and company, and he obviously needs some help in the fourth quarter and got zero help last night, but they've gone 15 straight where they can't come back and win in the fourth quarter. That's just wrong. And this was wrong last night, even though LeBron used up all his energy on the offensive end because he was terrific on offense, because he should have been, because they cannot begin to deal with LeBron James in the lane. They got nobody who can keep him from the rim.
They don't.
Nobody. So they got to play some defense, and the defense, the tone has to get set by the best player on the planet.
Yeah, well, the bench outplayed. Washington's bench outplayed Cleveland bench. Kyle Korver couldn't hit his shot. Rodney Hood was 3 for 7. Jeff Green was 2 for 6. And then you got 2 for 10 George Hill that's in the starting lineup. They're going to make shots. They're going to end up making shots. It was a tight game. I like the fact that they tightened up their defense after that second quarter. They were sloppy. I mean, look, they only 25, 28, 24. So
I just saw too, when Washington would score, it was just easy scores.
Well, you know, a lot of times, though, if you think about it, these analytics I've talked to a lot of personnel and things like that, and they tell me that they would much rather give up the deuce than give up the three. So a lot of guys are playing. If you look at the pick and roll, look how much the big is sagging, basically giving the whole lane to the guy to take up. He could get floaters or pull up at the free throw line. So some of that has to do with that as well. Everybody's changed up their game plan to really guard the three and give up deuces, which to me is really insane, because if you are in the league, you should be able to make a free throw line jump shot. Right. And that's what they're giving up. You should be able to make a floater because you work on that all the time, and that's what they're giving up.
If you look at the game since John Wall has been out, Skip, Washington's averaging 30 assists a game. So they're moving the basketball. And because they don't have a ball-dominant player with the ball in his hands, you don't know. You know when John Wall has the ball, you can pretty much determine where it's going to go. But not everybody's playing hot potato and getting the ball out of the hand.
I'm going to say it again. I did not love John Wall coming out of Kentucky. I thought DeMarcus would be a better player, and I think he's proven to be. And they're starting to look like a better basketball team without him. I'm not saying Bradley Beal's better than John Wall or however you want to slice it, but their team plays better. Like Kelly Oubre plays a lot better without John Wall because he just gets involved, man. He gets his hand on the ball more.
But I don't know if they're a better team without John Wall. I mean, they're playing well. That's just like saying that Duke is playing well right now. Are they a better team without Marvin Bagley, the third?
No.
No way.
No.
So I won't say that they're a better team.
Washington's
they're playing better right now.
What are they up to? 8 out of 10 they've won?
They're playing better. They're playing better now.
They're playing better. No, but look,
they're not a better team.
Gip, how about listen? I know you want to heap all this blame on LeBron.
I'm not heaping. You do have to set some defensive tone, though, or you're gonna lose.
They're gonna win tonight.
It was the bench.
They better win.
It was the bench play.
Huh?
It was the bench play.
I give you. Look, all of a sudden, I'm so Hood.
Yes.
He got hoodwinked by Hood last night. I'm so Hood last night in the fourth quarter plays 10 minutes and scores a goose egg. And Jordan Clarkson, who can be just explosive off the bench, plays 6 minutes in the fourth quarter and goose eggs. And that won't work.
But George Hill didn't. Go ahead.
Last night,
George Hill was 0 for 4 from 3.
They said, I forget who. I think it might have been Chris. It was Chris Webber last night on air was saying that it's a lot easier for new guys to come in and play on the road. Because you're always on the road. You know, you're not in front of your home crowd. And he said, then when you come home, you kind of press a little bit. And maybe that's what we've seen with these guys. That's why they didn't shoot well, because they were pressing to make it.
And also, Shannon made a good point earlier in the show. It's such a long All-Star break now. Maybe you lost some of your mo. You know, like you took a whole week off.
A little bit of your rhythm. Yeah, a little bit of your rhythm.
Yeah, and George didn't play good defense last night. He normally played better defense. He let that layup with 30 seconds by Bradley Beal.
That was
that was garbage.
He just let him go right around. I'm like, George, come on, bro.
What are you doing? It was like they were just like in slow motion through the game. Like we just show up in Cleveland. It's LeBron's palace, and we got this.
Right.
No, you don't got this. You got to play just as hard as you played at Boston and Oklahoma City.
And then they get the great block by JR at the brim, and instead of just grabbing the ball, Kyle Korver slaps it down.
That's the type of night they were having right there.
I'm like, oh.
And then Mike Scott scores a big basket on LeBron James.
It was not. Skip, why you do this, Skip?
Mike Scott?
Well,
Stop
LeBron, he didn't get on the rim.
Because he was guarding Marquise Morris.
Oh, okay.
Eddie, thanks for joining
always
us. Good luck
good.
to Jalen tonight. Thanks for joining us.
No mercy.
Russell Westbrook added to his highlight reel last night with a game-winning 3 at the buzzer to beat the Kings. Russ, Paul George, and Carmelo combined for 66 points, and OKC currently sits at 5th place in the West. Here's Russ after his game winner.
Well, Russ, take me through that moment. You're coming off the screen there, catching fire.
Melo made a good pass, man. Steven held on the screen and couldn't make nothing second half, but I made the one that counted. So
That's what you do, Russ. How did you guys just maintain composure throughout the course of this game?
it was tough. They're a good team, especially at home, and we came out on fire. They came back at us, and they did a good job of staying together throughout the game.
Shannon, are the Thunder a legit threat in the West?
A threat, yes. Legit, no. I do not believe they can beat Golden State. And I know their record is 2-0, and they've beaten them by an average of 18 points a game. But
By 17 and 20.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just don't believe it, Skip. I don't believe that in a 7-game series over a 2-week span that OKC can beat them because they don't make enough threes. I know Russ can get hot. I know Paul George can get hot, and you never know which Carmelo Anthony you're going to get. But I believe out of the West, the only team that could probably throw something, a monkey wrench in the Golden State's plans to going back to a 4-title finals is Houston, because they got 2 dominant players in Chris Paul and James Harden, and they can make the 3. Skip, since Robinson's been hurt, they've been rotating Abrinas, Ferguson, and Houston. Ferguson played less than 14 minutes, and he was a minus 30. Mm-hmm. That's only the 4th time in the last 15 years somebody's been minus 30, and they won. Mm. That's not good. And then you struggle against Sacramento, and this is what we see. We've seen, I would have more confidence in OKC if they struggle or were losing to Golden State as opposed to struggling and losing to some of these bottom feeders, Skip, because that's what we've seen. They play well against Golden State, they play well against Houston, and then Sacramento will get them, or then Brooklyn gets them. No. If you want to show me, you got to show me some consistency. I'm not saying that you got to win every game, but Russ, he hit a great shot, but when he struggles, Skip, he really struggles. And I don't believe your star, and he is the star of this team. He is the lead. He's the Lennon of the Beatles. He can never struggle. If he struggles, I don't believe Paul, in a series of this magnitude, because it'd be in the Western Conference Finals, I don't believe Paul George and Carmelo, if Russ struggles, can carry them home. So I do not believe are they a threat? Yes. Are they legit? I can see them knocking them off. Skip, I don't see them knocking them off. Rockets, I can see knocking them off.
I believe the Thunder are a much bigger threat to Golden State than Houston is.
Really?
And I agree with all of your facts, but not your takeaway.
Okay.
Oklahoma City plays way down to the level of competition. It took an incredible clutch shot by Russ last night to save them at Sacramento. They have 10 bad losses already this year on this schedule, 10 bad ones. And again, they'd already lost at Sacramento once. They almost lost twice. They've lost to Dallas twice. They've lost to Orlando, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Phoenix. These are horrible losses by a legitimate threat.
Yes, correct.
Okay? But to your first point, they broke through twice against Golden State, and it wasn't close. They crushed Golden State at Oklahoma City, and that was like breaking through the psychological barrier for Russell against Kevin Durant, who just owned him a year ago, as you recall.
Right.
As they faced off for the first times since, obviously, Kevin left Oklahoma City. And in this case, I think Russell went into the 2 Golden State games this year thinking, at least I have some star presence on my left and right. Now, maybe they're not star quality. Maybe they don't give you star performances. But I will say, in that second game at Golden State, Paul George scored 38 points. Yeah. Melo got hurt early in that game, so it was just the 2 of them basically doing it. But look at Russell's lines against Golden State. He went 34, 10, and 9, and then he went 34, 9, and 9. That's sensational against, obviously, the best team in basketball.
Right. And Clay is a great defender. He's giving it to him.
He's trying to give it to him. Clay's trying to give it to him, and it's not working. He's giving it to Clay. So, to me, they have figured out how to play Golden State, but they haven't figured out on a nightly basis how to beat Sacramento. And I don't love it, but I will say this about Russell Westbrook. He has become the best clutch shooter in basketball. And it's really not even close, because now he's got 3 game-winning shots in the last 5 seconds this year. And over the last 2 years, He's got 7 in the last 10 seconds that are game winners, and that's what 4 more than anybody else. My God, I mean, he just keeps. When I'm watching Oklahoma City, if he gets the ball late, I'm like, that'll go in.
But you know, Skip, the unsung guy is Steven Adams. Skip, he's become a monster. Last year, you and I beat him up because we didn't see the way he played to get that $100 million contract.
Yep.
We didn't see that last year.
Well, we know he's capable, you know.
This dude is a monster.
Okay, so against Golden State, he had 14 and 12 the first game and 14 and 10 the second game. Well, that'll work because that's enough.
Because now and plus you're getting 38 from Paul George, you're getting 34 from Russ, because you got to beat them on the board, Skip. You can't give them second chances because if watching the game last night, the Clippers gave them second chances, and then the Steph drains a long 3. And then Clay drains a long 3. Then KD.
And by the way, Steve Kerr is still having lineup issues because he took Zaza. He benched Zaza in favor of JaVale last night. Yeah.
Well, he had to because Zaza can't keep up with Jordan. You got to be able to keep Jordan off the glass. And early on, they weren't doing that, and that's why the game was close. Once they found a way to keep him off the glass, but it's hard to. You don't need to worry about keeping him off the glass if you got to take the ball out the basket, because that's what was happening. They weren't missing. Steph couldn't miss. And if he can't, like you said, I mean, he's hitting end of the first, end of the second, end of the third. Man, that's demoralizing. Because every time you hear an swish, swish, what am I supposed to do about that, Skip? And
Austin Rivers kept turning to his dad going, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
The dude 8 of 11.
Yeah.
We know what type of shooter he is. But, this is ridiculous. It's just like, for real, dude?
So he hits 8 of 11 threes, and yet it took that to hold off the Clippers, who scored 127 in that game. It ended up being a 7-point game only because Steph hit like 3 late daggers. Every time they would cut it to 5, he'd say, nope, watch this, it's over. So they still gave up 127 points, so they're vulnerable, and I think the Thunder have figured out how to play them. I'm not going to predict that the Thunder will win this game tomorrow night, but I will bet you it will stay close. I will bet you it will be a late close game, and maybe it'll be Steph's game again.
Is it in Golden State?
Yeah.
Okay, man. But KD only took 15 shots. He's 7 of 15. He's like on cruise mode. He's like, y'all don't need me tonight. Hey, Steph, go ahead and handle that. And that's what happens is that they like, we don't care who gets hot. It's just that we're gonna find a hot hand. And Steph got it going early. He kept it going and didn't have to worry about anybody else. But Skip, the thing is, if 2 of the 3 guys go off, what are you going to do? Because they can go for 80 between the 2 of them. They can go for 90 between the 2 of them. Nobody can match that firepower. I know Paul George had a great game with 38, and then Russ went for 34. But Skip, those are anomaly games. The likelihood of that happening. We know KD and Steph, or Steph and Clay, or KD and Clay can go for 80, go for 90. Because they can heat up like that. And you look up, you're like, dude, they 20 for 30 from the 3-point line, and then what?
So now I'm back to the murderer's row that can be the Western Conference playoffs.
Yes.
And I am looking at a team that I brought up on this show, and I'm going to bring them up again as another threat to Golden State that could at least soften up Golden State before they get to Oklahoma City. It's the Utah Jazz. I'm going to say it again.
Oh, no.
They've won 11 in a row. You don't care. You know what? You should check them out. You should check them out tonight against Portland because they have an incredibly favorable schedule over the next 14 games. And I'm not going to say they're going to win 25 in a row, but I think they're going to win like 23 out of 25.
Minnesota could possibly soften them up with that big old lineup that they got. Because they go Anthony Towns, they go Taj, they can go Jimmy Buckets, they can go Wiggins. So a big lineup, and you can pound them on the glass. But Utah, you like the Stifle Tower, huh? Rudy Gobert.
No, I like the young killer who is Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, so
that's who I like.
Okay,
Did you see what happened in the dunk contest?
Yeah.
He just walked out and said, you know what? This is over. I got this. I'm taking it over because I have arrived in the NBA. I did not see this.
Larry Nance Jr. should have won.
Huh?
Larry Nance Jr.
No, it was Donovan Mitchell. He took it over.
Yeah, but he did a dunk that did just a couple of years ago.
Actually, Dennis Smith was the best dunker in the contest, but he didn't pull off the most clever dunk. But the point is, Donovan Mitchell, I couldn't see him at Louisville last year because everybody gets lost in Pitino's system. It's just a bunch of cogs playing full court press, and all of a sudden, I start watching him early this year. Do you realize Donovan Mitchell has 2 40-point games already and 4 30-point games?
Yeah, he can put the ball in the basket.
This is serious. He is made of the right stuff.
You think Utah?
I'm just telling you, every time I watch him against the Spurs, I look back and say, wow.
Maybe the Nuggets with that three-point shooting and Jokic, maybe Minnesota. But, Skip, really, when it comes down to it, you know what's going to happen. It's going to be Houston and Golden State in the finals, in the Western Conference Finals. You know that, I know that.
I don't know that because I do not trust James Harden or Chris Paul when the lights are brightest.
Where's that game? Watch Utah.
Watch.
Portland, watch Dame Lillard and CJ drop by 80 on Utah tonight.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, we're going to
Stifle Towers, he's third in defensive win shares. I don't know. Ricky Rubio's playing at a high level.
Really?
You don't even know who Joe Ingles is, but you ought to check him out. You ought to check him out. He can play.
I know left-hander. He be knocking them corner threes.
Yeah, and why is I'm So Hood now a Cavalier? Why is it?
Because we wanted
Because they wanted to clear the decks. He was a powder. He wouldn't always play hurt. And they said, you know what? You can have him, Cleveland.
Yeah.
You can have him because we got Donovan Mitchell. They wanted to clear the deck so Donovan could just take this team over. And they needed a Jake Crowder just to be a cog on Utah.
But he ain't no cog.
Well, we'll see.
He ain't
3-and-D.
Hopefully, he'll do better for them than he did for the Cavs. Maybe they'll get that. Maybe they'll get that Celtics Jay Crowder than what they had in Cleveland. Because you already know, Skip. You could say I don't know what happened to Jay Crowder. I don't either.
Utah is not so hood anymore, and they're fine.
Well, we up out of there.
They're fine.
That's all right. Okay, you laughing. You talk about hood. Watch him tonight.
There's no hood in Utah.
Watch him. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, that's where we had to go. Watch him tonight against Memphis.
Yeah.
Drop by 5 threes on them right
Yeah, we'll see.
No mercy. Hey guys, it's Joy. Before the show moves along, I wanted to tell you about an exciting new project here at Fox. Fox Sports Films is excited to present the second film in the magnified documentary series Shot in the Dark. The film is executive produced by Dwayne Wade and Chance the Rapper and set against their hometown of Chicago. It's hailed as a New York Times Critics' Pick. The documentary follows Orr Academy's high school basketball team, and it stars Taekwon Greer and Marquise Pryor as they aspire for greatness under inspirational head coach Lou Adams, while facing the hardships off the court that threaten to claim their future. So check out Shot in the Dark this Saturday on Fox following the Villanova versus Creighton basketball game. Now let's get back to more Undisputed. No mercy. Lonzo Ball is expected back tonight for the Lakers. He hasn't played since mid-January with a sprained MCL, but the Big Baller brand tweeted yesterday that Lonzo will play tonight. He averaged about 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists before his injury. We're joined by Rob Parker. Welcome, Rob.
What's happening? Good morning, everybody.
Rob, what do you need to see from Lonzo for the rest of the season?
First, I need his dad to pipe down, be quiet, and I need him to play much more consistent. And I know, Skip, I heard you earlier with the 10, 7, and 7. People are like, want to dance in the street. Oh, rookies. That's the 7 and 7. Okay, I'll give you that. 10 points, 2.5 points a quarter. That's all you're getting, and 48% from 3.
48% from 3.
I mean,
free throw line.
from the free throw line,
if
right?
you shoot 48% from
oh no,
free throw,
he's good to go for free throw line.
Someday he will. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
okay.
You know what, Skip Bayless? You need to stop.
You look at like Ben Simmons last night. Do you see his number, Shannon? 32, 11, and 7 from a rookie, first year. And don't tell me about this his second year. He didn't play last year. All right? And the only thing that Lonzo Ball leads the league in is excuses made by other people about his play.
Mainly.
It just hasn't been consistent and good enough for a guy who was the second overall pick in the league. So he needs to improve. And then everybody, well, he's not a scorer. He's not a shooter. Dude, he was better than this in college. Would you admit that, Skip, that he's taken a step back?
What do you mean admit it? I'm the first to point it out.
But a lot of people are acting as
shot
if
41% from 3.
Right, but people are acting like he wasn't to come here to score points or he can't score points. All he's here to do is assist the ball and grab his rebounds. And I told you the rebound number is a little funny because a lot of those are his own misses that he gets the rebound on.
You got jokes.
Yeah, I got a couple of jokes for you. But I need him to be consistent. I don't need to hear his dad as we go in the second half. And I need him to be integrated with the guys who were playing very well without him. Before they got Isaiah Thomas, They were 8-4 without Lonzo. I know they've lost the last 3 since Isaiah joined the team, but they were 8-4.
What you trying to say?
Huh?
What you trying to say?
I'm trying to tell you that they were playing well without him. I looked at Ingram at the point. I was pretty happy. Weren't you happy with where
You've
what
already
direction was
suggested
going?
this on the show, so I'm going to ask you or encourage you to go ahead and step out and make the declaration a la Lonzo Ball, a la LeVar Ball, and say that he's a bust. Are you willing to say he's a bust?
He is a bust.
Okay,
I'm
good.
talking about right
Rob
here.
Parker called Lonzo Ball a bust.
He is a bust.
Did we get that on tape?
He has not lived up to close to what he was advertised. Whether it was from his dad, who was selling, P.T. Barnum and doing the circus thing, or whether it was Magic.
Or whether it was Skip.
Or Skip. Skip, you said he was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of guy.
Passer.
Right?
Yeah, he is. Once a generation.
Once a generation. He's
Can't
that
teach
guy.
it, can't coach it. Never seen anything like that.
But all I know is I
We ain't
saw
in
the
that
Lakers
generation
play
either,
better.
In which you are a great passer. Skip, look here. This is
You
what
think he's a bust?
Can I make my point?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can he get his shooting up to 40% from the floor? Can he shoot over 55% from the free throw line? And can he shoot 35% from the three? That's all. Is that asking too much, Skip?
No, he'll shoot 70% from the free throw line. Seriously.
See, there you go, Skip. Why you do that?
No, I'm just telling you, he will.
How is he
that's just who
shooting
is.
48%, Skip? I mean,
He
that's the
shot
worst of any
He
rookie.
shot like 9 free throws the whole year. He
Who
just doesn't
started
get to the
that?
free throw line.
Oh, so he's not aggressive,
And
right?
guess what? And he missing over half of those. He shooting 9 free throws this year, and he missed half of those. And guess what, Skip? They're not going to play basketball. The Lakers are not going to play their home games at Poly Pavilion. Okay? So what he shot at UCLA has no bearing on the Lakers. Okay? You need to stop that, too. Now, that's enough. He shot 41%. Did I saw it? Rob, did you see it? But he ain't shooting it now.
You
And
think
they're
he ever will?
41% from 3? Heck no.
Okay. We'll
Heck
see.
no.
Yeah.
You don't
Not
believe
with
it.
this, whatever that
I mean,
is.
starting the ball over there by
Right.
Joy and then bring it over here to Rob. No, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen, Skip. So at some point in time, you know what? I just want to. I'll hopefully we're together. You and I are partners long enough, so I can sit back up here 10 years from now and say, "Hey, Skip, how your boy doing with the Lakers?" And then you go like, "Oh, it's gonna turn around." Skip like he's 12 years into his career, but it'll turn around.
Think he'll still be with the Lakers playing like this?
No,
No.
he'll be at the Orlando Magic. That's where he'll be.
So, Lonzo Ball is averaging 10, 7, and 7, and for much of the year, he has led the Lakers in rebounding. Only recently did Julius Randle creep just barely above him at 7.4 rebounds a game to 7.1 rebounds a game. And early on, when Lonzo was engaged, he had, I'm not talking about engaged off the court. I mean, engaged on the court. Engaged on the court. He had 2 triple-doubles, and at Phoenix in game number 2, he went 29, 11, and 9.
Against the worst team in the league.
They're not the worst team, but they're the worst in the, you could argue they're the worst in the West, which they're at the bottom of the ranking. But the point is that Lonzo Ball came into this league with more pressure on him, more expectation put upon him than any rookie in any sport ever, and I don't think it's even close. And it's all because of the declarations that came out of his father's mouth about how great he was going to be. Better than Steph Curry. I don't know what all I've lost track of all the, he's better than, he's better than everybody according to his father.
Yes.
And then encouraged by his father, Lonzo quickly turned on, if not quit on, the head coach of the Lakers, Luke Walton. And I do not love that, but I can't stop it because the father's influence is extremely negative on the son because the son loves the father to a fault. Not that the son shouldn't love father, but he won't defy him. He won't challenge him. He won't apparently ask him to please back off.
That's it, Skip. Just ask Dad. Just take it down a notch.
Yeah, just down a notch.
But I agree with you. I don't think that it's in him. He could be 50 years old, and I don't see him stepping to his father and telling him.
So should you
to back
honor
off.
your father and your mother? Yes, you should.
Yes, but not.
But when your father is making it almost impossible for you to succeed as a rookie playing the hardest position in the game, point guard, where every point guard you're facing through the first couple of months of the year, they want to destroy LeVar Ball. Not Lonzo Ball, LeVar Ball. Yeah. Well, that's just unfair. So I gave him a B- for the first, whatever it is, 2/3 of the season. Because of the degree of difficulty, I think 10, 7, 7's pretty good under the circumstance.
You gonna grade your kids like that? They give you some crappy work, and you like, oh, well, you know what? The pressure that you were under, But you did good. You got all A's at the high school that you were at. Skip Bayless, you need to stop.
I need to start.
No, actually, 10, 7, and 7. They're empty calories because guess what? They have not equated to wins.
So early on, when he was plugged in, they took Golden State to the wire twice.
Skip,
mostly
did they win those
because
games?
of
Did they win
went
those
to the
games?
last shot, and they did not win those games. Then they went to Houston, and boy, you love you some Rockets over there, don't you? And Lonzo Ball led the Lakers to a victory at Houston. He was the driving force of that game.
Kyle Kuzma won.
No, he wasn't. It was Lonzo Ball. He was terrific in that game. He's been terrific in a number of games. But I also predicted before the year that I thought this team would be the 8th playoff team. And when you look at, they just gave up Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance. But when you had Brandon Ingram, KCP, and Julius Randle, and Brook Lopez, and Kyle Kuzma, and Josh Hart, and Lonzo Ball running the point, I love that team. Is it too young? Maybe. But again, there was such attrition in the West this year. So many big injuries, so many big trades, so many teams starting over, so many teams overrated, that they were perfectly positioned if Lonzo had been plugged in early on and done what he should have done and closed some deals, this team would have had a much better.
Skip, where are you with when he was gone and they just went through that stretch? They played really good basketball.
Yeah,
This is a
but
team,
he's been gone for, what is it, up to
15 games.
weeks now?
Well, yeah.
About 6 weeks, but early on, they were a disaster without him.
Yeah, but I think when you look at what Hart, how well he played, and Ingram, you got to admit.
I mean, Brandon Ingram's been playing point.
Right, he's been playing the point, and he's done a nice job.
But what I can't understand, Rob, what I'm having a hard time understanding from Skip is that the pressure that he alleges that Lonzo's under.
I don't allege it. It's a fact. And I think you agree with
His
it.
dad said there ain't no pressure. Alonzo said, my dad's been talking. There's no pressure. Now, if they tell, I got to take the man at his word. He says there's no pressure. Dad says no pressure. So where the pressure coming from, Skip?
And the
Has any father ever talked about any rookie this way in the history of sports? No.
No, I mean,
No.
we never.
But Skip, you must admit, early on, when players were sagging off of him, allowing him to shoot, he was wide open and couldn't make a shot.
I just told you he was under extraordinary pressure and expectation detonated by his father. But as he settled in a little more, he started to make threes. And he went on a couple of rolls where he had 4 or 5 games in a row where he was making a bunch of threes.
I'm ready to proclaim this. If Lonzo Ball does not play consistent and his dad doesn't pipe down, I believe that the Lakers will trade him in the offseason. I'm almost convinced because his play does not add up to where it needs to be to deal with that other stuff. And if you're trying to get Kawhi Leonard, if you just can't get LeBron or Paul George, you got to go to those other guys. People say that, the players don't care about that. I think they do. And the dad will go after these guys. We've even heard it before LeBron is even coming here talking about Lonzo's going to make LeBron better. It's just like, what are you talking about? He has to stop.
I would be shocked if Magic Johnson gave up on the kid that he handpicked to be the next great point guard of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Skip, he's bought
in 1,000%.
It's not about being right. It's about getting it right.
After 1 year?
The best general managers, yes, if you know something's
As Coach
bad.
Belichick, what Coach Belichick do? He drafted a guy in the first round, signed a guy free agency. It's not working
Coach
out.
Belichick just gave up 41 points to Nick Foles.
And the
That's
Patriots aren't the Los Angeles Lakers.
Five.
A slightly
Tom
different
Brady.
brand.
No, dude, you know what, Skip?
So
know he
the 10,
did?
7, and 7 is empty calories?
Empty.
What was LeBron's triple-double in the finals? What they got?
Nothing.
Empty.
Oh, no, the Game
look
7, the
at
one
that.
he had in Game 7?
No.
Oh, okay, the 73 now when he was down 2-1?
No, this
No.
last year.
okay.
Oh, he
Last
averaged
year.
a triple-double. And
Nothing.
they lost in 5 games?
Lost in 5.
Empty calories.
Kyrie averaged 28, 5 and 5.
Wow.
Nothing.
Gentlemen sweep?
There ain't no gentleman sweep.
5 games to 3.
But, hey, you know what? Get out.
It's a gentleman's sweep.
Get out. Ain't no
Rob,
gentleman.
thanks for joining us. No mercy. Ben Simmons showed why he's the favorite to win Rookie of the Year last night in the Sixers' win at Chicago. He finished with a career-high 32 points and added 11 assists. Earlier this week, Bleacher Report listed Simmons as the most promising young star in the NBA that's under 25 years old and has not been an all-star yet. He was followed by Nikola Jokic of the Nuggets and Donovan Mitchell of the Jazz. Shannon, who would be at the top of your list?
I got the guy they have in second. I like Jokic. Skip, before the last game before the All-Star, 30-17 with 15 rebounds. He's 11 of 14. Skip, he got a triple-double in 14 minutes. the fastest in NBA history. A big guy, 6'10", that can shoot the three, he can assist the ball, he can rebound the ball, and you foul him, he goes to the free throw line and make 85% of his shot. I'm still not convinced. I got to see Ben Simmons do something other than lay the ball up and dunk it. He's 0 for 10, not gritty.
0 for 10 from 3.
From 3.
Yeah.
Now, this is what we know about him, and I commend him for this. Skip, he knows he's not a good three-point shooter. He don't even bother.
Yep.
All of his three-point shots are at the end of quarters. So I feel bad for him, like this dude for 0 for.
Yep.
But he's chunking up the ball from 35, 40 feet away. Nikola Jokic. He reminds you of a young Arvydas Sabonis. If you don't remember, when he was with the Soviet team, Skip, he could do it all. He could pass the ball, and he might be the best passing big man that we've seen at the center position since Sabonis. But he's on pace to average 17, 10, and 6. Only Wilt Chamberlain has ever put up numbers like that. Think about it, Wilt. And if he does, 5 assists a game this season for a big, that'll be the most since Wilt. If you can be on a list and you be joining Wilt or the first since Wilt, that lets you know just how special this young man is. And he's only going to get better because what they've done is they've surrounded him with shooters, Skip. And so if you go one-on-one with him, he's going to back you down. And if you don't, he's going to hit those open threes. Hit those shooters for the open threes. I like Jokic. Ben Simmons, don't get me wrong. It's where it's at.
I still think Jamal Murray makes the Denver team go.
Yeah, I'm going to see how, Joe, you know what I'm about to find out? I'm about to find out how much you like old Lonzo Ball. I'm about to find that out. I'm all ears, Skip.
So it's hard to bet against a Ben Simmons who is 7 feet tall and can pass the ball the way he can pass it. But he's averaging 8 rebounds and 7 assists, so it's just like Lonzo, about the same category, 7 and 7 for Lonzo.
How many points?
17 points because he gets to stand at 7 feet tall and put the ball back in when Joel Embiid happens not to get the ball in on the other side of the basket, right?
Yeah.
So you got a little bit of an advantage over Lonzo Ball when you're 7 feet tall. But the guy I'm going to bet on long term is the guy who's got the most fire in his belly, because that's what I question about Ben Simmons. I watch him a lot, and some nights he cares, and some nights he doesn't look like he cares all that much. Not a lot of fire in that belly. You can say that about Lonzo, but I think his issues are more with the coach than with playing hard night to night. So Donovan Mitchell is a young killer. And I think people are completely overlooking him, and I don't think it's any done deal that Ben Simmons is going to win Rookie of the Year, because Donovan Mitchell has 2 40-point games and 4 30-point games, and he is on fire, and their team is on fire, having won 11 in a row, and I think it's going to go way up because their schedule is flat out scary favorable for Utah right now.
Nope.
Watch it. Just watch it. Watch what's going to happen.
This MVP race is like Christmas present. That thing wrapped. Ben Simmons got this. You know that, I know that.
Well, I don't know. If Utah keeps winning like I think they're going to keep
The
winning.
man got 6 triple-doubles as a rookie.
Hey, this kid's got 2 40-point games and 4 30. How do you like that?
Skip, he's shooting the ball.
rookie?
He's shooting the ball. I mean, he's got to share the ball with Big Embiid.
I'm So Hood is now a Cavalier.
Hey, don't worry about it.
You know why? Because they said, we don't need him.
Okay.
We got Donovan. You know what I love about Donovan Mitchell? When he was growing up, his father was the player relations director for the Mets. So he grew up in a baseball clubhouse setting, so he's been around stars all his life. I loved his body language. When he walked on the floor for the dunk contest the other night, he just said, I got this. He is rise and shine. Lights bright.
Hold on. Yeah. You just been giving, hold on. Wait a minute. You just gave Lonzo Ball a B-, and you ain't mentioned him one time.
What are you talking about?
I thought he's transcendent. Is Donovan Mitchell transcendent?
What?
You like.
Oh, I like it. Well, I thought we were just dealing with these 3.
No, you could have took anybody.
I love Lonzo. I love Lonzo long term.
They say who you got. You could have took Lonzo. You could have took Simmons. You could have took Mitchell. You could have took They're like top 10.
Lonzo will be a transcendent passer. I agree.
I want to know why you didn't take him now, though.
Well, because I'm saying Donovan Mitchell, I didn't see him coming at Louisville. I watched Louisville, 5 or 6 times last year, and I never sat back and said, That's a potential rookie of the year.
I didn't see.
Hey.
I don't think anybody saw this.
Yeah. I need to see more killer in Lonzo. I haven't seen it. I saw it at UCLA. I didn't see it this year yet. And I got to figure out, is it Luke Walton or is it Lonzo or is it Lamar?
I mean, it's really, Skip, it's really hard to project because nobody saw Michael Jordan being able to do what he did once he got to the pros. Nobody saw Anthony Davis. Skip, Anthony Davis had a 20. Yeah, we thought he could be a defense. Nobody thought the guy was going to be 28 and 12 like he is right now. Nope. So it's really hard to judge a guy because we look at a guy like, could he get 40?
Yeah.
But it's hard when they play in systems, and college coaches don't deviate from their system to accommodate guys.
It's probably a little too early to call Lonzo a bust and say that they should trade him.
I ain't saying that's what Rob said, but I like Jokic.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Keep an eye out for a weekend edition of the podcast tomorrow morning featuring the best discussions and segments from this week. We'll be back with more Undisputed on Monday morning, same time, 9:30 Eastern. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.